Hello everyone. Let's dive straight into integrating Azure OpenAI services via the Power Platform. The formal definition of this integration is the process of connecting enterprise-grade generative AI models like GPT into your low-code environment using the Create Text with GPT action in AI Builder or custom connectors. In plain everyday English, it is giving your apps a brain that can actually talk and write like a human. You see, standard AI can count things or read numbers, but Azure OpenAI can understand a messy paragraph and write a polite reply. Imagine you run a local gift shop. You get emails like, "Hey, I need something for my aunt who likes gardening but hates gnomes. Budget is $50." A normal computer would be confused, but Azure OpenAI reads that, understands the vibe, and writes back, "How about this beautiful ceramic watering can? It's $45 and gnomeless." Stay with me here because we are moving from calculators to co-pilots. You've probably seen this at the office where you spend an hour drafting a perfect email. We are going to make the app do the drafting for you. Let's break this down together. We are plugging the world's smartest brain into our daily tools. So now that we've mastered the idea that Azure OpenAI is the human-like brain for our apps, you might be wondering how we actually give it a job description so it knows what to do. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is prompt engineering and system instructions. This brings us to prompt engineering. The technical documentation defines this as the practice of crafting specific high-quality inputs, known as prompts, to guide the generative AI model toward producing the most accurate and relevant output for a specific task. To speak naturally, it is giving the AI a clear to-do list. If you give a vague instruction, you get a vague answer. Imagine a dummy example of a customer service assistant. If you just tell the AI, "Help this customer," it might just say, "Hello." But if your prompt says, "You are a helpful assistant for a shoe store. Read the customer's complaint and suggest a refund or a replacement in a warm tone," the AI knows exactly how to behave. You've probably noticed at the office how much better a new intern performs when you give them a clear checklist. Prompt engineering is that checklist for the AI. Let's break this down together. We are the directors and the AI is the actor. So, now that we have mastered how to give our AI its script and character, you might be wondering how we actually build the bridge to send our data from a Power App over to that Azure brain. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is the AI Builder GPT action in Power Automate. Now we need to talk about the AI Builder GPT action. The formal definition says this is a pre-configured action within Power Automate that allows you to send text inputs to an Azure OpenAI model and receive a generated response as an output variable to be used in your flow. In simple everyday English, it's the intelligence envelope. You put your customer's email into an envelope, send it to the AI brain, and it sends the envelope back with a perfectly written summary or reply inside. Think of a dummy example. You are an HR manager. You have 500 job applications. You build a flow that takes every resume, puts it into the GPT action, and asks, "Summarize this person's top 3 skills." In seconds, your spreadsheet is filled with summaries. Stay with me here because this happens while you are sleeping. You've probably seen this when a website summarizes a long news article for you. That is exactly the summary power we are putting into our flows. Let's break this down together. We are automating the thinking part of the job. So, now that we've mastered how to send text back and forth using the GPT envelope, you might be wondering how we keep this powerful brain from guessing or making things up about your company. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is data grounding and knowledge integration. This brings us to data grounding. The technical documentation defines grounding as the process of providing the AI model with specific factual information, such as your company's internal documents or manuals, to ensure its generated responses are accurate and based on your unique data. In plain language, it is the open book test. We don't want the AI to guess your return policy. We want it to read the actual policy. Imagine a dummy example. You are building an app for a plumbing company. You provide the AI with your 2026 price guide. Now, when a customer asks how much to fix a leaky tap, the AI doesn't guess based on the whole internet. It looks at your specific guide and says, "That will be $80 plus parts." You've probably noticed at the office how dangerous it is when someone gives advice without checking the manual. Grounding ensures your AI always checks the manual. Let's break this down together. We are giving our AI context. So, now that we've mastered how to keep our AI honest by giving it the right books to read, you might be wondering how to make sure this expert only talks to the right people and keeps your company secrets safe. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is Azure OpenAI security and governance. Let's dive into security and governance. The formal definition describes the use of Azure's enterprise-grade security layers, including data encryption, private networking, and content filtering, to ensure that the data sent to the AI model is not used to train public models and remains within your organizational boundary. To put it very simply, it is the soundproof room. What happens in your company stays in your company. When you send a private contract to the AI to be summarized, that contract doesn't go out to the public internet. It stays inside your secure Azure vault. Imagine a dummy example. You are a lawyer using AI to find patterns in a case. You can feel safe knowing that those private details aren't being learned by a public bot that might tell your competitor later. You've probably noticed at the office how important confidentiality is. Azure OpenAI provides a professional, fortified version of the AI tools you see online. Let's break this down together. We are building an intelligent app that is bank safe. So now that we've mastered the safety and the logic of our new brain, you might be wondering how to check if the AI is actually doing a good job or if it needs a little more coaching. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is monitoring and iterative refining. Finally, we reach refining and human oversight. This technical area focuses on the human in the loop pattern, where the AI's generated output is reviewed or approved by a person before it is sent to a customer or saved as a final record. In our relaxed classroom tone, it simply means the final check. I always say the AI is a brilliant assistant, but you are the boss. You should set up your flow so that the AI drafts the email, but it waits for you to click approve before it hits send. Imagine a dummy example. The AI writes a reply to a grumpy customer. It's a great reply, but maybe you want to add a personal touch like, hope to see you at the community cricket match on Saturday. That human touch is what makes an intelligent app feel truly special. Let's break this down together. As builders, we are using AI to do the drafting, so we have more time for the connecting. We've looked at the human-like brain, the clear to-do list, the intelligence envelope, the open book test, the soundproof room, and finally, the final check. We've mastered integrating Azure OpenAI. You now know how to build a tool that doesn't just work, but actually thinks with you. Well, that brings us right into our next chapter.